Hi guys, today I'm here with Mr. Melvin Parker, the owner and also the producer of The Block in San Diego. It's a TV show, and he's had like wonderful first season about it. I've just binge watched all of them while I was looking up on what you do, and I think it's really amazing. And I'm just surprised to
Thank you.
see there's so many people out there, and it's just the way you've captured it is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I'll be asking you a few questions today, and I think let's start off with it. I think my first question would be, what is that one thing you wish you had known when you began your career? Like,
Um, I think the one thing, honestly, is probably how expensive it is to do what I do. I knew there were some costs involved, but it's extremely expensive to be able to produce TV shows and different things like that. And trying to do it as an independent person,
mhm,
the costs start to add up, especially when you're coming out of pocket for a lot of it.
right. And would you say like you had to like struggle quite a bit with maybe like asking
Yeah,
people to in finding people to interview, or like
yeah.
like.
Yeah. So when I first got started, it was, anytime you start anything that's brand new that people have never heard of,
Mhm.
you're always, I've learned that people are going to be hesitant. And I kind of knew that anyway. But people were very hesitant in wanting to be interviewed. They were asking a bunch of like, who are you? You don't have any followers. I've never heard of you before, and all these different things. And so you just have to be tenacious and be determined to get the interview. And, the blessing in all of it was I learned how to ask for the interview, no matter how big the person is, no matter how small. When I first started, it's like these small companies or small names or people you don't know.
Right, right.
And as we're going into season 2, we have some like names that are known worldwide.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
So, would you say that maybe like the social media aspect of it played a very big role? Like, until you had a certain number of followers, people felt that you weren't maybe, say, for the lack of a better word, legitimate enough. Like, you needed a certain social media setting to show that, okay, so this is me. I have like a decent number of followers. I am not
Mhm.
a scam of a person. And like, so I just genuinely want to take an interview and make a episode with you.
Sure. Social media did play a role in it, but it wasn't a very big role. I think, I'm a very passionate person about what I do. So, people would see it on social media. And even today, here years later, we still, they don't watch it because of the social media. They started watching it because of word of mouth, because when the owners would meet me and hear why I want to do my
Right.
show, they
Mhm.
were just like, oh, we're all on. And then after that, people started telling other people, like big name people would tell bigger name
Right.
people. And it just began to
Right.
grow like that because word of mouth was, hey, these people, they're doing this amazing thing. They're very professional. And I've seen, I think you should take a risk on them.
Right. That's right. So what advice would you usually like to give people who want to pursue your career?
I think two things I always ask people, like when we have interns that come in
Right.
or people who want to just try to learn the craft, the two things that I require from them is passion and a work ethic, because I feel like people have the capacity, to it's easy to turn on a camera or learn to do the color or different things.
Right.
Those things are, those are teachable things that you can learn, from reading a book. But passion and a work ethic,
Mhm.
some people you just can't teach it. It has to be in them. I always tell them like, no, because those are the things when stuff starts getting tough and and you have setbacks and things that are going wrong, and you're trying to relieve, all this stuff you're trying to do with this profession. It's very hard. It's very difficult to do. And it's like, if you don't have passion and a work ethic, you'll quit. Oh, this isn't for me. You'll make excuses why you can't do it. But when you're passionate about something, I don't care what it is, and you have a work ethic, you'll always be successful. Because you never quit. You just keep going until you get to where you are.
That's some excellent things to say, honestly. I totally agree with that, because I'm an intern at this at Nerds Rule Inc., but I'm also a junior, and pretty soon I'll be going into the job market and going into the whole
Yes.
job hunting and whatnot. And the fields, like each field, like you said, has its own thing. And I think one important thing is passion. Like you have to be, because sometimes I see people who are so passionate about it, and it just reflects from their eyes. It reflects in their actions. It reflects in everything they do. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So I think, that's the one shot way for people to get where they want to be. So what do you think is one common myth that is there in, like, you can say, in the world of like production or whatnot? Like, what is that one myth you feel like people that one stereotype which people usually hold?
I think people think it's easy. They see, you go on YouTube or you go on all these other, social media platforms, and, you see everyone's making a video. Like, these are great. Oh, look at these videos. I can do that. Everyone thinks, oh, I can do that on my own. But then there's a lot of planning that goes into a show like mine. There's a lot of, it's a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of what we call pre-production. So, you have to do a lot of work before you even shoot the interview, and people think it's easy. And it's like, no, for me, it's like I have a crew of, 5 to 6 people that go on a interview. Then you have a truck full of equipment that you have to carry around. So we're doing it. I'm not walking around with my cell phone saying, hey, I want this cool video, not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, you have to start somewhere. But I think people think to get to a high level may be easy. To be able to produce quality entertainment is easy, and it's not.
What would you say approximately, like, how many hours of work? Like, maybe give us like a vague breakdown of saying like how much time goes in planning and production, or maybe how much would you say?
Oh my God, it's a full-time job and then some, so you figure it's 8 hours in a day, but you're constantly, because with what I do, I do a lot. You've watched some of the episodes. Well, those interviews have to be scheduled, and, you have to plan for them. So the work never stops. Even late at night, I'm working on the show because I'm the producer, creator, executive, director. So I have a lot on my plate with what I do. So for me, the work never ends. It's just, you may spend 14, 15 hours in a day working on episodes.
Right. So, like, what would you say was the average time for maybe editing would take?
Oh my God. One of the segments, right? Like you'll see like maybe a 5-minute segment.
Right.
That's like a week's worth of work,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like a week's worth of work. And so you figure, like, in season 1, we had close to 50 or 60 interviews. So that's 50 to 60 weeks of work on this show, just the editing part. That's not the filming and the pre-production and the planning. So that's why a lot of times you'll see TV shows and they have to wait till the next season to come out because there's so much work that goes into it to put out the work that, you need that time to prepare for the next season.
Right. So I think my next question would be that what was your biggest failure, and what did you learn from your biggest failure in life?
I think my biggest failure is, just trying to repeat. Like we're in season 2 of our show, just trying to repeat the season in the same way that I did in season 1.
Right.
It failed miserably. You lose people. We've had all of our equipment like failed, where we lost all of the footage and everything like that on a piece of equipment. Luckily, there's a way to recover it. But what I learned from it is, you know, what I said earlier, you better be passionate about this, and you better work hard at it, because if you don't, the average person will give up, and you have to be strong. And I learned that, like, no, I learned how strong I was, like, because I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up. I was like, this isn't meant to be, you know, just like anyone would say. But it's like, no, this is what you said you're going to do, finish, you know, and don't only finish, finish strong, you know, because for me, I don't feel like I've even reached step one in the big picture of what I want to do. So I have a long ways to go. And it's like, okay, you want to quit here, then you'll never accomplish what you wanted to accomplish.
Yeah. I saw that you had like almost 20 years of experience. You know, you tried out a lot of different things. You've worked in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
places. So
Mm-hmm.
what would you say in learning all of this? I'm pretty sure that all of these skills must have come to work at your show, you know, when you were producing it, like, you know, if something, all this knowledge in life, you apply it somewhere, obviously, like you apply it in every part of your life. So what would you say were the best resources which you feel like really helped you?
I think just being organized, you know, that was a good resource. And then just being able to tap into good people, surrounding myself with the right people and stuff. I made a lot of mistakes in who I surrounded myself with, you know, obviously over 20 years, but it taught me how to pick people, you know, and to this day, I still make, you know, there's no perfect solution. You know, sometimes you think you're picking the right person until it's time for them to do the work, and then you realize, oh, okay, this person's not going to fit, even though on paper, you know, on a resume, in the interview, that sounds good and all this stuff. But then when it's time to do the work and stuff gets hard, you start losing a lot of people. So I think just being able to organize and being able to surround myself with the right people, those have been that's what got me to where I'm at today, because it's been a long road.
Right. So who would you say is your role model? Like, who is the one person who inspired you to like keep?
Oh man, I can't pick just one, you know. You know, for me, obviously, and not to get, you know, super religious or anything, but just Christ, just God, you know, just having God in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And just the things that he went through and everything. And, you know, I look at my personal life, he never gave up, you know, never gave up on me. So I'm like, I won't give up because he's not giving up on me. So just the way he lived his life was influential to me. And then my father, my dad, you know, he worked very hard. He was successful. You know, he had two successful careers where he retired. And then even after he retired from the second career, he took on a part-time job helping his brother's business. So, you know, he's a huge role model. His consistency, you know, he's always consistent with everything he does. He doesn't go backwards, you know.
Right.
He works very hard. And, you know, he gave us good advice growing up for me and my siblings to be successful. So those, and then I think my wife is a hard worker, you know, just watching her build her business and the different things. As you can see, I'm in a Mary Kay, you know, she has a Mary Kay business also in addition to her main business. And so just seeing her work ethic, as you can see, everything's like, you know, organized. She has her stuff in place, you know, and just watching how hard she works makes me want to work harder. So those are my three role models.
Oh wow, that's really amazing.
Yeah.
How did you meet Dr. Rittika?
Well, years ago, I used to produce how I got started actually in this industry. I started producing a live event, and it was music and spoken word. And so I started producing it, and it was called the Psalmist Hour, like the Bible, the Psalms, music, you know, spoken word.
Yeah.
So it was called the Psalmist Hour, and she would attend my shows, and she introduced herself, and you know, we hit it off. You know, she looked at me as like a big brother to her, and I did, you know, I'm very I feel like I'm very faithful. Like I don't try to do stuff for a reaction or so, she somehow, some way she saw something positive in me and she admired, I think, the work that my wife and I were doing and just seeing our projects grow and different things like that. So she would stick around. She attended, pretty much every show. She was like a faithful attendee, which is, you know, it's hard to come by, but she was super faithful and she would always touch base with me. She was kind of, in the beginning, she was like really shy, like I don't know why she would like hesitate approaching me as if I was like some busy, music mogul or something. Like I'm like, no, I'm barely off the ground. I don't see myself as anybody. I just, I just have a gift that God has given me, and I just do it. I don't look at myself as someone special. I'm just following my assignment in life.
Yeah. No, but I think it's really cool because you said your wife has two businesses and you're producing a show. And like, from what you have told me, I feel like you work really hard. And so I see that, when she looks at you like someone really special, it's not like,
Yeah.
It's not always that, you have to have like the biggest name, or it's not always about money. It's always about seeing like, someone being dedicated to their work. And, I think she saw how hard you worked and she's like, I know this man, he's gonna achieve what he wants. And I think that's the thing. And like you said, perseverance and passion, and I think she sees that a lot in you. Like I have talked to you only for a few minutes and I see that in you because you're very passionate in what you do.
Yeah, I am very passionate about it, but she's, I think what she's doing with Nerds Rule Inc. is far greater than, I think we all have our assignment and you shouldn't compare, whatever that gift you have is to other people's gift. But I do feel like what she's doing around the world and helping others and the cause that she has and the passion she has for helping others, it is so commendable, how she does what she's done.
Yeah.
I'm just like, when she tells me, she's just like, I did this. And she talks like that with me. She's probably like the boss with you guys, but she's like my little sister when she and I talk. And to see the things that she's been able to accomplish in just never quitting, because it weighs on you to have something that big on your hands. And she does it gracefully. So what she does, I don't think she has any idea how much I admire her. I see her as my equal. Like I'm not better than her. I'm not, my gift isn't more valuable than hers.
Yeah.
I see her as my equal and I'm grateful to know her.
Yeah, I think she does really amazing work as well, because I think she really doesn't understand what she's doing, because I think for me personally, at least I feel so, growing up, I just felt that, everyone, when you're growing up, it just does this thing that I want to do something for the world. I want to do something for my community. Sure. But I think as you grow older, I feel like a lot of things happens and you get busy with your own life. So no one really makes that time that I'll go out and this is what I want to do, So like, I think it's really commendable where she's like, I'm going to manage my own life and I'm also going to try to make sure that I try to help out people as much as I can with, giving, she just doesn't want people to like go through the same things as she did. And, she just wants to help out with that, whether it like be it any way. So I think that's something really amazing. And
absolutely.
And I think I have a few more questions. And what are you doing during COVID to make sure that you're still at the top of your game? Like, what would you say?
I think being, COVID gave my brain a chance to rest, because I do a lot of stuff. I've been with, in addition to producing the Block TV, I own a production studio.
Right.
And I've been with NBC, the network NBC, for 11 years.
Oh, wow.
So my brain never stops. Like on top of that, you have to be a husband, you have to be a father and all that. Yeah. So with COVID, it's allowed me to plan better. It was actually a blessing in disguise, because I was able to let my mind, my thoughts become healthy again, and really organize my thoughts so that when I get back out there again, I'm ready to roll. So my planning is better. My thought process isn't because when I'm going, it's like this, like you're all day, never stop. The phone's going all day, you know, emails are coming in all day and you don't have a chance to think. But with COVID, it allowed me to rest my brain, take time off. You know, I went out of town for 3 weeks to hang out with my family. And it was, you know, it was great. It was great. So I felt like I used the time wisely and I didn't pile more stuff on myself. It was like, no, organize what you currently have. Don't add, it wasn't an opportunity for me to start another business or, you know, launch another show, something that's new. It was like, no, get your stuff that you have and make it even better, so that it can grow. So that's what COVID did for me.
That's amazing. I think my one last question for you would be that if you could go back in time and what would you tell your 18-year-old self, you know, when you were just starting out?
Oh my God. I think the one thing I would tell my 18-year-old self is be bold and follow your instincts. Like be bold. Like I grew up, I was super shy until I was probably like 20. I never looked anyone in the eyes. I never spoke. I just would hide, you know, very, you know, unless I was really close to you and you got to know me. You know, the quiet guy, very shy. I didn't feel like my ideas were good enough. I thought everyone else had the best ideas. And it's like, you know, so I missed out on a lot. I would be so much further if I would have been bold and followed my instincts. Like, no, forget you can't care what other people think.
Right.
You can't. The graveyard is the wealthiest place on the planet because people keep those thoughts and those ideas to themselves. And then they watch TV and was like, oh, remember 10 years ago, I thought of something like that, you know?
Right.
And it's like, no, be bold. You know what I mean? Believe in yourself and go for it. Don't be shy and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Cause I grew up like my family, my whole family, every single one of us have been in the military. My dad was in the military, so we were raised very structured and you don't do this, like so much etiquette, you know? And I wish now, like, no, I'm going to wild out. I'm going to go for it. I'm not going to be afraid to fail. You know, a failure doesn't define me. What defines me is, do I finish what I said I was going to do? Because we all fail. You know what I mean? So those are key things that I use even to this day, you know, and I wish at 18 I would have known this. And, you know, I don't know where I would be. I know I'd be probably, you know, 10 times more advanced than where I am today.
So what's one last, you know, maybe some parting advice to all of our young followers, you know, maybe something, what would you like to say
I would say, you know, I'm going to piggyback on my last thought, and that is don't wait to do what you want to do, because you guys are young, you know, young people. You have so many people in your ear. You have your parents, you have your friends, you have all these people that are going to be in your ear and tell you what you should do. And I advise you to be a gracious rebel. Like, no, you know what's inside you. You know what was put inside you of what you should do. You know, when I grew up, my dad, you know, because I respected him, he's my hero. He's like, you either go to college, you know, to get a good job, or you join the military. So I joined the military. I was good at electronics. So I called my advisor, who was my dad. Oh, you should stay. Don't take any risks. Oh, you shouldn't do this type thing, because he wanted to go the safe route, you know, but it was never in me. So I ended up getting out the military after 4 years. The rest of my family, they retired, like they spend their whole lives. And even after I got out, I spent 20 years as a government contractor until I found out that this isn't what I want to do. After 20 years of doing work in the government, right? I figure out that, oh, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. So for me, it was like a waste of time. And you know, always now in hindsight, I'm like, man, I should have just went for it. I should have been myself. I should have been the person that I was designed to be. And, you know, God bless the thoughts that my dad had, but, you know, I was put here for a certain reason. You know, Rittika was put here for a certain reason. You are here for a certain reason. and you have to follow your dreams. And don't be afraid to fail at it. Follow them, and you're going to make mistakes, and I guarantee you, you're going to fail. I promise you this. I can't promise you $1 billion and all this other stuff you're dreaming about, but you will fail. You will make mistakes. You will become depressed and, you know, hate life. You will regret your decision. But if you're passionate, you work hard, you'll work through those things, and you'll succeed at anything that you want to do that was put in you.
Right. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for all your help,
No
and thank
problem.
you so much. So guys, this was Mr. Melvin Parker. You should really go check out his show, the vlog, and it's really amazing. I think it's really cool. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was good meeting you.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day.